Welcome to the Sovereign Library, Horizon Life Operating Systems, or ESTS, Deep Dive Series, the Sabbath. Genesis says God rested on the seventh day. Most people read that as God getting tired, as if the act of creation, light from darkness, seas from sky, life from dust, wore him out, as if the most powerful force in existence needed a nap. That is not what it means. God rested on the seventh day because the work was complete. Not paused, not pending, complete. The rest wasn't recovery. It was confirmation. It was the posture of someone who has finished what they set out to do and has nothing left to prove. This is the Sabbath Neville Goddard was pointing at. Not a day of the week, a state of mind. So, let's talk about how most people manifest. Most people's manifestation practice looks like labor. Visualize, hope, check to see if it's working, visualize harder, wonder why nothing has changed, doubt the process, visualize again. That is not assumption. That is anxiety with a vision board. And here is why it doesn't work. Every time you go back to visualize something you already claimed, you are telling your nervous system it isn't done yet. The repetition is the confession. You only keep working on something when you are not sure it is finished. God did not wake up on the eighth day and visualize the ocean again just to make sure it was still there. The Sabbath of the mind is the moment when you stop reaching for your assumption and simply rest in it. Not because you have given up, because you have arrived. There is a specific feeling that comes when you know something is done. Not hope, not faith in the sense of wishing, knowing. The way you know your name, the way you know the sun will rise. You don't check. You don't visualize it. You simply proceed, as if it is already true. Because in your inner world, it is. That is the Sabbath. The rest that comes not from exhaustion, but from completion. Now let's talk about how the beast blocks the Sabbath. The beast cannot tolerate the Sabbath. Here is why. If you truly rest in the assumption, the beast loses its grip entirely. It can only operate in the gap between where you are and where you want to be. The moment you close that gap in consciousness, the moment you inhabit the wish fulfilled so completely that there is no gap, the beast has nothing to work with. So it attacks the Sabbath. 3 ways. First, it tells you that resting is giving up. You can't just stop. You have to keep working on this. You have to keep visualizing. You have to keep affirming. If you stop, it won't happen. This is the beast disguising itself as discipline. Real assumption requires no maintenance. What is already true doesn't need your daily confirmation. Second, the beast manufactures urgency. But what if you lose it? What if you stop thinking about it and the universe forgets? What if the bridge disappears if you stop checking? This is the beast keeping you in a state of constant monitoring, which is a state of constant doubt. You only monitor what you are not sure of. Third, the beast points at the physical evidence. Look around. It hasn't happened yet. Nothing has changed. How can you rest when the evidence contradicts the assumption? This is the oldest beast move in existence. It demands that you trust what your eyes see over what your inner world knows. But consciousness is the only reality. The outer world is always catching up to the inner world, never the other way around. So what does resting in the assumption actually look like? It does not look like doing nothing. It looks like acting from a different premise. When you rest in the assumption, you don't stop moving. You stop striving. You stop reaching. You stop trying to make the assumption true. Because you already know it is. Your actions come from fullness rather than lack. You make decisions the way someone who already has what they want makes decisions. Not frantically, not desperately, but with the quiet authority of someone who knows the work is done. The sovereign doesn't reach for the bridge. The sovereign walks across it. Now, in recovery, the beast is loudest in the gap. The gap between where you are and where you want to be. The gap between the life you are living and the life you are assuming. The gap between day one and the version of yourself you are building toward. The beast lives in that gap. It expands it. It points at it. It uses it as evidence that you are not there yet, that you will never get there, that you should stop trying. The Sabbath closes the gap. Not in the physical world, in consciousness. And consciousness always leads. When you inhabit the version of yourself you are becoming, not as a future possibility, but as a present reality. You have entered the Sabbath. You have completed the work in the only place work can be completed. Inside. The outer world follows. It always does. Here is the practice. The Sabbath is not a technique. It is a recognition. At some point in your assumption work, there is a moment when you know. Not hope, not believe. No. That moment is the seventh day. That moment is when you rest. You will recognize it because the reaching stops. The urgency drops. You find yourself thinking about what you want the way you think about something that already happened, with the warmth of memory, rather than the tension of desire. When you find that place, stay there. Don't go back to work. Don't visualize again. Don't affirm again. Rest. The work is done. He did not rest because he was tired. He rested because it was finished. The negotiation is over. Horizon Life Operating Systems Deep Dive Series.